Hi there, good noon, and welcome to another practice session where we sit down and work on things together. Now, I know in the last session I focused more on verbal ability, and the reason was that some of the 23 aspirants had their snap, and I thought, ek panth do kaj kyun na kar liye jaye, why not really go ahead and help both of you? But today that is not going to be the case. This session is predominantly going to help people who are preparing for CAT 24, and we are going to practice reading comprehension today. So, if you happen to have any concern or question with respect to reading comprehension, or for that matter, even preparation in general, then go ahead and let me know, and I can definitely help you out with that. And for those of you who are new to this particular channel, why don't you consider subscribing? And along with that, if you press the bell icon, you'd also get a notification. We keep on conducting a lot of sessions. I think people who don't have those notifications on would generally not even be able to uh, really keep track of all of those, right? For example, even today, if I just look at the list of sessions that we are planning to conduct today, what all do we have? So right now you are with me at 1 p.m. We have a session for Snap, then there is a strategy session happening later. So plenty of things happening today. So make sure that you go ahead and do that. And those of you who are not familiar with me, my name is Vikrant. I am your personal coach for all things related to English and communication skills. So let's get into it. And before I take you towards the passages, here is something that I want you to ponder over. So a lot of times we think that it is the situation, right? These are the circumstances that stop us from achieving what we could have achieved. Now, I don't deny that circumstances do not play a role, but the attitude that I want you to keep is the one which is captured here in this particular slide. At the end of the day, we need to take ownership of our lives. We need to ensure that we hold ourselves accountable for these things. And that I am very sure is going to take care of it all for us. Okay, so only you can stop you. The others can try to create problems, but they cannot prevent you from delivering your best. So let's go ahead and here are the directions for the first 5 questions. Read the passage, answer the questions that follow. I mostly like to take you through a passage paragraph by paragraph. However, there are times when some paragraphs are really big and I cannot fit them onto a single slide, so I may split them. But the moment you are done reading a particular paragraph, let me know so that I can take you over to the next slide. And at the beginning of your preparation, your focus should be more on accuracy than on speed. So try to understand the questions, the approach, focus on those things, okay? So that's going to differentiate you from others. So let's go ahead. Passage one. Let's prepare for it mentally. Take 3 deep breaths where you breathe through your abdomen and then exhale through your mouth. Center your attention on the screen, and here it is. right? So taking you over to the next paragraph, here you go. Moving on in 5 seconds. Okay, again, moving in 5. Very well written, right? So here is your first question. Why don't you go ahead, read the question, understand it, start eliminating the options, and use the seeker of your YouTube video to go back and refer to the right part of the passage. So, any answer? So, if I start looking at it through the perspective of elimination, we have nothing in the passage that helps us to justify repeatedly, nor do we have anything that says that she was a dark horse. Okay, so dark horse is an underdog, somebody who was not given much of a chance to win the title, but then she went on to win it. And then, for that matter, even when we look at D, works are popular across all age and economic strata is something that cannot be determined on the basis of the passage. The data provided are insufficient, but if you read the first paragraph, you'd find this line that says, whose visceral exploration of the self and its potential implications on social and political life. Then that is something that can help us justify C. C is basically a very close restatement of that idea, and that is why C is going to be our answer to question number 1. Here is the next question for you. So, what's your take? Which of the following can be inferred about the author's view about the reasons for the world discovering any and all? I don't know whether you have managed to create a mental overview, but if you have, this should be easy. Done? Thought it through? So, if you ask me, I would tell you that this is something that has been mentioned in the first paragraph. Here it is. In fact, I need to highlight the entire sentence then. So you're looking for an answer choice that captures this idea. So she has translations. And then after translations, they became popular, which basically tells you that the themes that she wrote had universality of the feminine experience and the popularity of memoir as a genre. So we are basically looking for an answer choice that captures this thought, is faithful to this thought, and that answer is option. And therefore, I'd say that we should go ahead and mark B as our answer. Here is the next one. Question number 3 on the screen. So if you're just about starting your preparation, this can be a challenging question for you. But if you haven't, and you know what the word assume means, and you connect it with shifting sands of truth, you'll be able to choose D as your answer. Here is your question number 4. All of the following can be inferred from the passage except which one of the following? So when you look at the word inferred, it essentially means which of the following can be concluded. Fair enough. And every conclusion is going to be true, false, or can't say. So let us see. A. People's lives are interesting for their contemporaries. If you refer to the last paragraph, it has a sentence which says there is a reason why the real lives of people at a particular place during a particular period make for interesting reading. So this is something that you can infer from there. So A is true. If I were to label it, let's label it as true. Reading about real lives offers people solace. It comforts them. So once again, the passage tells us that it allows the reader to go into the murky depths of messy lives and find succor And that sucker is essentially a synonym of solace, so B is also true. And then C, reading about someone's experience can give one clarity about one's own experience and identity. So the passage says that the author's, the Nobel laureate's triumph lies in exhorting her readers towards this moment of collective lucidity to the circumstances of their own experiences to find out where they come from and what makes them who they are. So definitely true. B, on the other hand, cannot be inferred. The author says that she approaches it as if she were a sociologist or an anthropologist. Remember that ethnography and all that. But it does not mean that this was her profession. She was definitely an author, and therefore, our answer here should be D, as A, B, and C, all the three are true. Okay, here is your fifth and the last question based on this particular passage. Similar to the previous question variety, let's hope that you are able to deal with it better. And those of you who are joining in here, hang on, hang tight. After this question, we'd start with the next passage and then you'd get the opportunity to work with me live. We can go ahead and polish off one more passage together. Shall we? So, what is this about? None and except get cancelled out. So, we are basically looking for something that is true. Now, if you look at A is false. Her language was very direct and journalistic. In fact, the passage says, stripped of all poetry, her prose is spare, or was it sparse and journalistic, leached of emotional access. Then B, Erna's writing is anticipatory and predictive in nature. Mm, the passage says that she wrote everything from the vantage of hindsight about the events that shaped her. And therefore, anticipatory would definitely not work. So that's false. Once again, this is something that is mentioned in the passage rather clearly in the first paragraph. And this, she had a blissful childhood, is once again false. If you read the passage carefully, it says her hands scrabble early life in a Normandy town. So definitely not a positive childhood there. So A, B, and D are false. C is true, and that is what makes C our right answer. And with that, let's dive into our next passage. So those of you who are joining in now, this will be a good time to start. Okay, so here is the first paragraph of the second passage. In the last 5, 6 years, we've been hearing a lot of biology, particularly zoology based passages in the paper, and thus we need to be well equipped to read such things rather easily. So let me know once you're done reading the paragraph. So, the Führer was the other term used for Hitler. Beetle is an insect. Anophthalmos Hitleri. Okay, so taking you over to the next paragraph, assuming that by now you've read it, here you go. So did you know that Taylor Swift has a millipede named after her? Nanneria Swifty. So if you're a Taylor Swift fan, here is something for you to add to the trivia. Okay, next. Next. So this is the last paragraph. After this, you get the questions, and here is your question number 1. All right. So if I were to look at it, can I say that this is more or less a main idea question? So as main ideas go, what was the purpose truly? Was it to introduce us to the concept of naming a species? Not really, because the majority of the passage actually talks about the controversy surrounding this particular name and some of those other names. So therefore, I think the best answer should be option B. That name is actually leading to some difficulties for that particular species. Here is the next one. Which of the following, if true, would strengthen the claim that Anophthalmus hitleri is an innocent bug? Which should be, I think, an easy question. So let's see how we deal with it. Okay, so we basically need to prove that this bug, insect, is innocent. So normally innocent would be somebody who has not committed any crime or harm. And I'd reckon that the only option that does that is option C. And therefore, that is going to be our answer to question number 7. Here is question 8. This is a reasoning based question, slightly advanced, but as a beginner, I think you should definitely try it and then see how it goes. Okay, so when we want to use an argument against something, you need to basically what? Provide reasons that tell you how it is unproductive. So why do people want to change the name of the Hitleri bug? Facing some challenges. But then why should the name not be changed? So let's look at A. Nomenclature cannot be updated to break a silly stereotype against a common bug. That makes sense. I mean, it's just a one-off case. So you have a very robust system. So definitely something against. If you have fixed protocol to ensure uniformity, that once again makes the process easy. So yes can be used against. And the moment you say A and B are both can be used against, the answer should be D. But let us check C. The name was not offensive when it was proposed, and the same will be the case a few years later. This is something that is almost verbatim stated in the passage attributed to an individual in the last paragraph, where he says that the name was not offensive when it was proposed, and it is not likely to be offensive 100 years from now. So you cannot really go ahead and start yielding to every contemporary demand for whatever reason, and that is why D goes on to become our best answer choice. Okay, here is the next question. Inference based. Good luck with that. Let's see what you choose. Right. So just in the previous passage, we talked about inference being a conclusion, and conclusions can be true, false, or can't say. So we basically go ahead and evaluate. So which one of these is going to be true? Species have a two-part scientific name to ensure clarity over zoological nomenclatures. The passage does not use the term clarity, uniformity, but not clarity, and therefore this is can't say. How about B? During its origin, scientific nomenclature failed to take into account the controversy surrounding contentious names. Uh, During the origin, where there was no controversy for that matter, so it even gets the facts wrong. So But it's talking about scientific nomenclature, so cannot be determined. We don't know whether they discussed this part or not. Illegal trading of Hitler has a lot to do with its name. True. No action has been taken against the illegal trading of the bugs. Bugs can't say. And that is why our answer to question number 9 should be C. And with that, let me take you over to your next one. Which of the following can be concluded from the passage? If you have read this even cursorily, I'd say that this is going to be an easy question to answer. Ready? So, unanimous agreement, false. If you read even the last two paragraphs, you'd be able to label it as false. B, can't say because we do not know that it has bothered so many people. So many indicates that there's a sizable chunk that is bothered. It remains uniform across the world, true. Are permanent and immutable. There is nothing conclusive stated about it. Names can be changed, it is just that it will involve tinkering with a well organized nomenclature system. So, as a result, some people are reluctant to, or the authorities are reluctant to do it, whether it cannot be done. In fact, there are people who have proposed that some of those names should be changed, and that is why our answer to question number 10 should be option C. And that is what I had brought for you today. If you liked the session, don't forget to give it a like. And you can also unlock a 3-day free trial to experience how we teach each one of these things in great detail, great depth in our batches. And I'm sure if you do that, you will find it appealing, in which case you can consider joining our comprehensive CAT 24 programs. And our batches have produced stellar results in the past. I am sure that if you and I work together, we can definitely increase our probability of great results. So that's it from me today. If you want to reach out to me, there are plenty of ways of doing that. And until I see you next, stay safe, stay focused, stay in touch, and have a great week ahead. See you soon.